All right, so today we're starting with a comment. I got a comment on YouTube. It's from R. Lianzo. Hey Dan, I was adventurous and bought some dried epazote when I was visiting NYC. I've never cooked with it, and I was wondering what you could, if you could shed some light on epazote and share some recipes. Thanks. Well, it's funny because epazote is probably the key ingredient of my all-time favorite street food, which we kind of covered, but not really, and we will cover in more detail today. Today's sponsor is Oogie's Gourmet Popcorn. You can visit them online at oogiessnacks.com. Oogie's makes pre-popped popcorn that they sell in bags that you can munch on just the way that you'd munch on something like potato chips, but they are much healthier because popcorn is much healthier than potatoes fried in oil. I think that one of the coolest things about them is that their products come in really interesting flavors. This is their spicy chipotle and lime, sun-dried tomato parmesan, of course a classic like white cheddar. They also have some spicier flavors. They do a kettle corn. They have flavors that sort of stretch the gamut, and they're all really, really tasty. I like this because I can eat a whole bag over, a movie with my girlfriend and not really feel like we're just munching down on nasty, greasy stuff. The product is delicious, and I think you should get your hands on it. Another thing that's sort of a winning factor of it is that it's completely gluten-free, and for all of you that have gluten allergies, you're always looking for a snack, this is the thing to go for. Check them out online at oogiessnacks.com. If you use the code WTFDAN20, you're going to get 20% off of your purchase, which can translate into big savings and big deliciousness. Check them out online at oogiessnacks.com. All right, so today we're talking about epazote. Now, epazote is an herb, and it's really common in Mexican cuisine. To me, it smells a little bit like camphor, that stuff that you rub on your chest when you have like a head cold. The flavor of it, however, is nothing like camphor. It sort of has a minty, basil kind of flavor to it, and it's really nice and really unique. Now, this is a historical herb. It's been eaten for many, many years, thousands of years in Mexican cuisine, and it's a natural carminative, which means that it sort of fights flatulence, which is really good if you have a ton of beans in your diet. Now, when you go to buy it at your grocery store, sometimes you'll find it fresh, and it can be either old or young. The older it is, the more potent the flavor is. The younger, the more mild the flavor is. Or you can find it dry, which tends to be pretty potent, so use it sparingly. And if you don't want to go to your grocery store and you want to kind of get it for free, you can look around. I know that it's a naturally available, forageable plant that grows wild. For example, it grows wild in Central Park, and you could get it there if you're in New York City. Maybe that's where you got it when you were in the city. Now, epazote is commonly found in Mexican cuisine. You can find it in parts of African and Asian cuisine as well, but it's really the Mexicans that have the stronghold on this herb. You can cook with it in a lot of different things. You can sort of put it in anything the way you'd put basil or cilantro into something. It has an acquired taste like cilantro does, but I think it's a little bit more approachable. I don't think that it's as pungent as cilantro is. And next time you're whipping up something like black beans, throw it in there. It does really well. Or you can make what I consider to be the king of street food and the dish that we're going to cover today, Esquites. To make Esquites, first slice off the kernels of 2 ears of corn. Then in a heavy bottom pan, add a squirt of vegetable oil and a few arbol chili peppers. Cook them until they're brown. Now add your corn and let it brown a bit, and meanwhile chop up some epazote and sprinkle it inside of the corn along with some salt. Now add about a cup of water and simmer it for about 15 minutes. To serve, spoon the corn into a bowl and add a dollop of mayonnaise, a palmful of cotija cheese, a dash of cayenne, and a squirt of lime. Then just serve and enjoy. So that is how to make Esquites. Try this recipe. I think you're going to be wowed. It's hard to find some of the ingredients, but when they come together beautifully. Check out oogiessnacks.com, our sponsor, and get your hands on some of their gourmet popped corn. And tune in next week for a new What's This Food? Of course, you can post comments, let me know what you want me to cover, and I will do my best to cover all the topics you request. See you next week.